Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hope witnesses Daphne and Carter sharing a kiss as Finn and Luna share an emotional moment. Taylor is devastated to learn that Finn's aunt had sex with him at the Cliff home. There's more. Steffi informs her, Poppy became pregnant. Their daughter is theirs. Luna, says Steffi. Finn's daughter is Luna Nozawa. Taylor exclaims. Hope praises Zen's amazing concepts for Hope for the future in the Forrester design office. She feels it was a great idea to get Daphne Rose on board, and she is amazed with their success today. She and Carter have a lot in common. Hope believes the business will benefit from it. The direction that Forrester is taking is exciting. Zen observes that, considering his recent achievements, Carter doesn't appear to be as excited as he ought to be. What do you suppose that could be? Zen finds out she's receiving additional praise for Daphne Rose's new fragrance when Hope answers the phone. She is amazing and not like any woman she has ever met. Zen inquires once more about Carter's subdued response to their accomplishments. Hope is the only one who appears excited. They all want Forrester to be acknowledged globally, she says. Hope, it is. Zen continues by stating that there is a great deal of possibility. Carter is thrilled about it, she tells him, and she hopes Zen will be too. There will be a significant impact as Daphne joins Forrester. Zen reflects that she really likes Daphne's. Hope claims she understands Carter and that he is the same. She is hence essential. Hope thinks she'll change Forrester Creations' direction for Carter, and for me. Carter is asked to delve deeper by Daphne. Daphne is aware that Carter is in pain in the main office. He defied the family that accepted him as their own and his greatest buddy. An empty triumph, isn't it? She queries whether his relationship with the Forresters is worth it. He has demonstrated his worth and has a fantastic chance to give Ridge and Steffi back control of the business. You want to give the business back to Steffi, Ridge, and Eric? Carter asks. It doesn't matter what she thinks, only what he thinks of himself, Daphne adds, taking his hand and guiding him to a mirror. He sees what? She exhorts him to be truthful to himself. But I was wrong, Daphne tells him, adding that she intended to watch him back since she believed he was a traitor. He is a guy of principles, and she can tell that's not who he is at all. The Forresters would disagree, Carter informs her. Daphne claims to have left his own lasting impression on the business, but the real hallmark of a great leader is knowing when to speak. It would be ideal to make a deal now. The question is, what kind of deal? Daphne offers to visit Ridge and Steffi on his behalf and adds, give the business back to them if they agree to keep Hope for the future. Carter, what are your thoughts? Taylor asks Steffi when this occurred at the Cliff home. According to Steffi, that happened when Finn was just starting college. Poppy was assisting and staying with them. Steffi claims she exploited Finn one night. She had gone too far with drugs and guys. According to Taylor, Poppy became pregnant after their one night together. According to Steffi, Finn was misled by Poppy into believing he wasn't the father. It's all a lie, Taylor blurts. This is absurd. Luna's father, according to Taylor, is Tom Starr. According to Steffi, Lee performed a paternity test. Someone must have changed it, according to Taylor. Finn has to retake the test, she says. According to Steffi, Finn took a test twice. Luna is definitely Finn's daughter. Taylor is upset that Steffi must handle this, for Finn to put this on her at this time? How will she handle that, in his opinion? How is that handled by anyone? As she sobs, she holds her. Luna approaches Finn. Luna lashes out at Bill's house, saying she despises herself for all the suffering she has brought about. She is surprised and embarrassed of herself, but she doesn't think he will believe her. No reasonable person kills people or kidnaps a member of their own family, she continues, therefore she must have been insane. She sobs because it pains her that she can't put things right even though she wants to. Finn is urged to believe Luna. Luna thinks Finn came to make fun of her. She claims that something seized control of her body and forced her to do these horrible things, but she deserves it. Her father, Tom Starr, was murdered by her. Perhaps because he was never present, it still doesn't feel like he's her father. No father can justify not standing up for his daughter. She laments the lack of stability and foundation, adding, "All I had was my mom, and that's not saying a lot." It never happened, even though she used to hope that someone would come and take her. Blurting, "I didn't know." Finn grabs her by the shoulders as he crosses the room. "I had no idea." He cries as he gives her an embrace. Carter and Daphne share a kiss. Carter inhales deeply before approaching the desk in the main office. Daphne questions whether she went too far. He assures her, not at all. They are so grateful to her for her advice and fragrances, and he owes her a lot. Daphne doesn't keep anything to herself. He claims that she is not the first individual to advise him to return Forrester. He is informed by Daphne that this has nothing to do with Hope or her desires. "It concerns you." She rubs his chest and says, "You're a good man with a good heart." Carter claims that she seems to be able to look right through him and understand all of its thoughts. He made an effort to convince himself that he was a good man and that what he and Hope did was justified. "You're so much more," Daphne replies. Hope peeks in as Daphne and Carter share a kiss across the hall. Hope shuts the door and appears upset. As Finn tells Luna he didn't know and Taylor is horrified by Poppy's behavior, Hope witnesses Carter and Daphne sharing a kiss. The Forrester scent was popular, but Carter was devastated when Taylor discovered that Luna was Finn's. Finn then found Luna and embraced her. Luna is surprised that Finn discovered her at Bill's. He insists on knowing why she is there at all. She says she has a connection to Bill, and he put her under home arrest. Luna can appreciate his surprise at seeing her, but why is he there? Is he come to lock her up for being a hopeless, pitiful person? She is ashamed of herself and despises herself for causing so much heartache. As she continues to talk about how no rational person would do what she did, Finn's mouth falls wide. She begs him to believe her, because she is ashamed of who she has become. She breaks down in tears. He is unsure about where to look. Join SoapSpoilers.com as a subscriber. Receive SoapSpoilers.com's most recent post updates and more directly in your inbox. Luna claims that she was motivated to do horrible things and wasn't herself. Not that it ever felt like it, but Tom was her father. Perhaps it would have if Poppy had allowed it, adds Finn. Luna sobs as she states that it is unacceptable for a father to fail to support his daughter. Her mother was all she had, and that wasn't much. She prayed for someone to take her away every time. "I had no idea." Finn sobs and envelopes her. Taylor is shocked that Poppy used Finn at the Cliff House when he was just 18. Finn and Poppy had a daughter, according to her daughter. When Taylor learns it's Luna, she lets out a gasp. She doesn't understand how this is feasible. Her daughter explains to her how Finn and Poppy's relationship progressed before she exploited him. When it came to guys and drugs, she was constantly going overboard. Taylor maintains that all of this is absurd and must be a fabrication. The paternity test must have been changed once more. According to Steffi, it has been run twice. According to science, Luna is his daughter. The doctor is unsure of how anyone can handle such a situation. She advises her daughter to let things go and assures her that everything will be all right. Hope gushes over Daphne leaving her mark and compliments Zen on his creations in the Forrester design studio. As Zen notes, she appears to have left her imprint on Carter as well. The employer doesn't appear stoked about achievement, he continues. They discuss how unique Daphne is as he sketches, and Hope remarks that she is unlike any woman she has ever met. He questions her once more over Carter's subdued response to his achievement. The only person in the company who seems excited is Hope. She is certain that they all aspire to be a well-known, respected brand worldwide. As he notes, it was already. She believes that more is possible. She wishes he would be more enthusiastic as she fidgets and flings her hands around. Hope is certain that she will change the company's history, but she averts her gaze while they discuss how Daphne knows what makes Carter tick. Carter is told by Daphne in the workplace that although the fragrance launch was magnifique, it must have been a hollow success because he had betrayed his best buddy. He lets out a sigh. She says that since he has demonstrated his point regarding the brand, he has the chance to give Ridge and Steffi back control of the business. She guides him to the mirror while holding his hand and asks him to be truthful about what she sees. She believed she might encounter a traitor when she arrived at work. He's not that, though. He is a morally upright individual. Although he has left his imprint on the business, being exceptional is knowing when to say when. She encourages him to agree to retain HFTF in return for the business. She offers to act as a dealmaker herself. He thanks her for her advice as he dashes across the room. This isn't about Hope and her desires, she claims. He has a good heart, she says, touching his chest. He claims that she can look right through him and understand his thoughts. He tells himself again that he is a good man. He's more, she says. Hope enters the doorway and observes their kiss. Her eyes well up with tears as she turns around. Hope says, "I saw everything," to Carter. "You will not try to win him over again. Do you understand?" Daphne is cautioned by Hope. Finn informs Luna, "I am your father." Finn, "She's broken." Steffi objects. He identifies her as his daughter. "Your adorable little girl is not her," she yells. In the Cliff House's darkly lit living room, Steffi Forrester sat with her mind racing, reliving the events of the previous 3 days. With Luna Nozawa's unexpected arrival in their life, Steffi found herself drawing unnerving parallels to Sheila Carter, the woman who had all but ruined everything she valued, as the burden of Finn's family drama became unbearable. Finn's biological mother, Sheila, was a nasty and cunning individual who had caused mayhem in her wake. Steffi had done all in her power to keep Sheila out of their life, but now that Luna was here, she couldn't help but feel like history was being repeated in the most surprising way. With her innocent, wide-eyed innocence and seeming good intentions, Luna reminded Steffi of Sheila's initial appearance, charming, modest, and full of promises. However, Steffi was aware that looks were not always reliable. She wasn't going to let her guard down again because Sheila had taught her that lesson the hard way. After Luna, Poppy's daughter, brought a flurry of secrets and issues to Los Angeles, the tension had already begun to build. Steffi had initially attempted to assume the best of Luna. She was only a young woman, after all, attempting to figure out who she was. However, as the days passed, Steffi started to pick up on small details, subtle cues, cryptic remarks, and a certain calculating charm that seemed all too familiar. The way Luna interacted with Finn was very worrisome. She always found a reason to be close to him, to touch his arm, or to laugh a bit too loudly at his jokes, as if she were trying to get his attention. She seemed to be pushing herself to the limit to see how far she could go before anyone noticed. Steffi also took note. She saw at everything. For his part, Finn didn't appear to notice the underlying themes. He missed the warning flags because he was so excited to get back in touch with his new family. Even his biological mother, Poppy, had been a revelation. Finn had been thrilled to hear that Poppy was still alive and ready to join him after years of thinking Sheila was his sole living mom. However, Luna followed Poppy, and with Luna came a number of issues that Steffi had not anticipated. Steffi wasn't sure how much more she could take, and Finn's family was growing at a startling rate. Steffi felt as though she was being tugged in a million different directions by Sheila's persistent attempts to reintegrate into their lives, and now by Poppy and Luna's unexpected presence. But Finn's family was getting to be too much for her. One evening, when Steffi entered the living room, she discovered Luna sitting on the couch with her legs tucked under her, deeply engaged in a conversation with Finn. This was the tipping point. They were huddled together, laughing at something, and Steffi briefly felt alienated in her own house. It sent shivers down her spine because it was a feeling she hadn't had since Sheila initially entered their lives. Finn and Luna both looked up as she cleared her throat, their laughter fading as they saw her standing there. "Steffi." Finn spoke in a kind but a little guilty tone, as though he had been caught in the act of doing something improper. We were merely discussing Luna's future plans. She intends to remain in Los Angeles for some time. Steffi made an effort to grin, but it fell short of her eyes. That's fantastic, she remarked in a hurried voice. However, don't you believe that making preparations is a bit premature? She saw Luna's face slump as she said, Luna just got here, and we're still trying to figure out how she fits into all of this. Her words came out harsher than she had intended. Ever the mediator, Finn got right in. I understand that this is difficult to process, but Luna's family, Steffi. I want her to feel at home here since she's my sister. Steffi's jaw tensed. Finn, she's your half-sister. Not to mention that Sheila is still a problem for us. Right now, do we really need another wild card in our lives? The tension was so intense that a knife could pierce the room's silence. While Finn stared at Steffi with a mixture of disbelief and rage, Luna looked down at her hands, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment. At last, he remarked, Steffi, that's not fair. Luna is not Sheila. She isn't here to stir things up. She simply wants to be a part of my life, and I share that desire. Steffi narrowed her eyes and folded her arms across her chest. Finn, what about what I desire? Have you given any thought to how I'm being affected by all of this? Sheila has caused me to go through hell, and now I'm expected to embrace Luna wholeheartedly? How can I tell that she is different from her? The accusing, heavy words hovered in the air. Luna got to her feet, tears welling up in her eyes. I apologize, she replied quietly. I didn't intend to cause any issues. She turned to Steffi after glancing at Finn, who gave her a comforting gesture. I thought this could be a fresh start for all of us, she said. Sheila is not me. I would never harm you or Finn in any way. Steffi's heart briefly softened as she recalled Sheila's deceit, her manipulations, and how she had all but wrecked everything. I just want to be a part of this family. She could not afford to drop her defenses once more. Steffi remarked suddenly, I need some air, as she pivoted on her heel and made her way to the door. She needed to leave in order to gather her thoughts before saying something she might later come to regret. She tried to quiet the fury raging inside her by taking a deep breath as the cool night air touched her face as she stepped outside. Finn had too many relatives. Luna, Sheila, and Poppy were all too much. Though she wasn't sure how much more she could handle, she adored Finn. It felt like everything was falling apart now after she had worked so hard to establish a life with him and keep Sheila at distance. Steffi wondered whether she was exaggerating as she stood there looking out at the water. Perhaps Luna was different from Sheila. Perhaps she was merely a young lady attempting to figure out who she was. However, Steffi had suffered too many burns to risk that. She needed to safeguard her marriage, her family, and her mental health. And it's okay if that meant avoiding contact with Luna. Finn would have to respect her boundaries even if he didn't understand. Steffi wasn't going to forget the lesson Sheila had taught her, trust must be earned, not given. Steffi was startled out of her reverie by the sound of the door behind her opening. Finn was already there when she turned, his face displaying a mixture of worry and annoyance. He whispered softly, Steffi, we need to talk. She nodded, understanding that it was past time for this discussion. They couldn't continue to ignore the elephant in the room, as much as she would have liked to. Whether she liked it or not, Finn's family was now a part of their lives, and they had to work together to navigate it. However, Steffi couldn't get rid of the sensation that they were perched on a precipice, and that one mistake could send them plummeting over as she gazed into Finn's eyes. As Steffi Forrester faced Poppy Nozawa, the lady who had swiftly turned into a thorn in her side, there was a noticeable sense of tension in the air. Steffi wasn't going to back down from what had begun as a benign reunion between Finn and his biological mother, but had quickly turned into a full-fledged feud. Poppy's easygoing manner and apparent good intentions allowed her to infiltrate Finn's life in a way that made Steffi shudder. Steffi was annoyed not only by Poppy's unexpected appearance, but also by the way she seemed to charm Finn and everyone else with ease. Steffi wasn't going to let Poppy waltz in and ruin everything since she had put too much effort into creating a life with Finn and shielding their family from outside dangers. The stakes had never been higher, though, since there were whispers circulating about Poppy's history and the potential for Finn to have another kid. Steffi saw that the ground was moving underneath, and she realized that this was a fight for their future, not simply for Finn's attention. When Poppy first came to Los Angeles, claiming to be Finn's long-lost mother, the drama started. Steffi had initially tried to be encouraging. She recognized the significance of Finn's reunion with his biological family, particularly in light of the turmoil Sheila Carter had caused in their lives. However, as the days stretched into weeks, Steffi started to notice small details that made her nervous. From his job at the hospital to his time at home with Steffi and their kids, Poppy managed to get herself involved in every part of Finn's life. She was constantly present, smiling, and giving unasked for counsel. After then, there were rumors. Whispers about Poppy's history, her hidden secrets, and a child she supposedly left behind years ago. Steffi had made an effort to dismiss the rumors, but when Poppy's daughter Luna Nozawa arrived in Los Angeles, everything started to come together. Steffi couldn't get rid of the suspicion that Poppy was concealing something that could alter everything, and Luna's arrival had just fueled the flames. Steffi's world turned upside down one evening when she overheard a chat between Finn and Poppy. Steffi couldn't help but listen in on their intense yet subdued tones as they spoke in the kitchen. With an unusually solemn tone, Poppy had said, "Finn, there's something I need to tell you. It's about my past, about a decision I made a long time ago." As Steffi listened, her mind was racing with 1,000 possible outcomes. Was Poppy going to tell them that Finn had a brother? Or worse, that he was unaware of the existence of his child? The very concept was enough to chill Steffi to the bone. The thought of Finn having another child, another woman in his life, was too much for her to handle after what she had already been through with Sheila. Steffi had rushed into the kitchen before she could stop herself, her eyes burning with dread and rage. "What's happening?" With a trembling voice, she demanded. "What are the two of you discussing?" Poppy had the grace to appear guilty, while Finn had looked up, shocked. Finn had hurriedly responded, "Steffi, it's not what you think," but Steffi wasn't in the mood for justifications. "Then, Finn, what is it?" "Because it appears like Poppy is going to give us another shocking revelation from where I am standing. Have we not experienced enough?" At that point, Poppy had moved forward with her hands up in a conciliatory motion. "I realize this is a lot to process, but I have to tell Finn the truth, Steffi. He is entitled to know the truth." Steffi had chuckled angrily, the tone cruel and nasty. "The reality? Like the truth about Luna, is that right? Or the reality of any more secrets you may have been keeping? You're just like Sheila, Poppy, always stirring up trouble wherever you go." No one spoke for a minute as the accusatory, heavy words hovered in the air. Poppy had merely groaned, her shoulders dropping in defeat, while Finn had glanced between Steffi and Poppy, his face tangled. She had eventually stated, in a quiet but strong voice, "I'm not Sheila. Yes, I made mistakes, but I want to put things right, which is why I'm here now. I adore Finn, who is my son. That's all that matters." Although Steffi wanted to believe her, her heart was too full of doubt. She had witnessed directly how Sheila's purported devotion had almost ruined their lives, and she had no intention of allowing Poppy to do the same. From that point on, Steffi and Poppy's animosity became the talk of Los Angeles, and their tension only increased. Poppy seemed to be there every time Steffi turned around, causing havoc and trying her tolerance. Then there was the issue of Finn maybe becoming a new baby mama. The idea that Poppy was not the only woman from Finn's past with a claim to his DNA or heart had started to spread. Steffi was inconsolable after hearing rumors about an enigmatic lady who had previously dated Finn and possibly be pregnant with him. Finn had been vague and insisted that there was nothing to be concerned about when she had confronted him about it and demanded answers. Steffi, however, was wiser. She had noticed the look in his eyes, the inability to conceal the shame and doubt. She was determined to find the truth about whatever was happening. When Steffi got an anonymous tip about a woman named Vanessa who was supposedly residing in a little hamlet outside of Los Angeles, it was the last straw. The report said that Vanessa had been concealing the fact that she was Finn's father for years and that her young boy looked a lot like Finn. As Steffi received the note, her mind was racing with all the possible outcomes. Was this what Poppy had been keeping hidden? Was Vanessa's child fathered by Finn? Steffi felt her stomach turn just thinking about it. She had always taken pleasure in her strength and her ability to stand up for her convictions, but this was just too much. With an uncontrollable aspect of Finn's history, she was unable to compete with a child. However, she couldn't just let things happen without doing anything. No matter how terrible the reality was, she had to know it. That night, Steffi had faced Finn with her feelings unadulterated. Who was Vanessa? She had made the demand, her voice shaking with fear and rage. Steffi had realized that the rumors were genuine when Finn had glanced at her, his face a mixture of amazement and shame. He had started to say, "Steffi, it's not what you think," but she interrupted him with piercing eyes. "Finn, don't tell me lies. Not this time. Who is she? And is she your child's mother?" Finn, struggling to find the appropriate words, sighed and ran a hand through his hair. "I had a relationship with Vanessa a long time ago. It was before all of this, before I even met you. I promise, though, I was completely unaware of the child. I had no idea if he was mine." Steffi had had the impression that the earth was giving way under her feet. A secret child, a lady from Finn's past, and an unexpectedly uncertain future, this was her worst nightmare come true. She had always thought that nothing could separate her and Finn, that they were inseparable. But now that Vanessa had shown up out of the blue and Poppy had interfered, Steffi wasn't so sure. Despite her love for Finn, she was unable to ignore the rifts that were beginning to appear in their relationship. Steffi wondered if their love was resilient enough to withstand this most recent storm as she stood there, gazing into the eyes of the man she had worked so hard to create a life with.